I'm back at the boat. One more shot at this sump pump. I'm putting in one of these level switches here that are very cheap. They don't last more than a year. But what I had in before was this sensor. It's supposed to just sense a water level, but I was never able to test it. And the boat's going in the water in less than a month, and I really have to be sure that this works. So I just finished wiring everything up. I gotta tape everything and reattach the hose, and then just put the whole thing in. I've already tested the circuitry. It works. The switch works. So I'm back to where I was last year. I still don't have the second pump in, but at least I know I have one pump that's brand new. New pump, new switch. Okay, so I got the bilge pump in. Like most things inside this engine room, it's not easy. I'm trying to get this hose off the locker that holds the propane tank, and you can see I cut the end off, and it's got one of those wire spiral wires inside the hose. I will never ever recommend using these types of hoses. I know they're indestructible, but they're also hard to get off. I've been working on this for an hour, just tearing out little pieces of the rubber to get down to the wire. Well, that's done. So that's a cockpit drain, which I can reach, and that's the other cockpit drain. So the question is, I can reach it, but can I actually get it off? Now this is where the second bilge pump is going to go. This is the current, and then right above it, put this new through hole right there. I put some 5200 right here. I mean, it's well above the water line, but this will be more than enough to keep water out. Even if it's submerged, it's enough. And there's the inside. You can see there's the lower pump. This is the manual bilge pump, which I'm gonna keep the through hole, but I'm gonna replace all the hose as well as the original bilge pump. All this hose is gonna get replaced as well. So I have a nut. I'm just going to thread this on with just a little bit of Loctite behind it so it doesn't unthread. So there we go. And it's locked in. I'm going to put some duct tape over the end because I'm not going to put the hose on today. I'll do this, or at least I can do this once the boat's in the water. Okay, so the last thing I'm doing today is I'm shutting these through holes. So I'm officially on record to close this before the boat gets launched. And also then you have to put a plug right here, which I may not be able to. I guess I can film it. I just make this finger tight. Okay, there you go. Valves are shut. This is the core of the transom that I drilled out for that through hole. There's about 3/16 inch to a 1/4 inch fiberglass and gel coat on the outside, and about 1/8 of an inch to 3/16 on the inside, and the rest is that non-wood polycore. So that is I would estimate that to be about 1.125 inches, 1.25 inches total. That's a pretty heavy duty transom. Next project. This holds my rudder sensor under the cockpit seat, and when I was working on some stuff, I didn't have the cover on the seat, and I sat down and didn't realize I broke this off. But you can see it was pretty well rotted inside, which is why it broke. So this also is part similar to this, only on the other side. This is a stop for the steering quadrant. The quadrant controller hits this metal so it doesn't go any further. There's one just like this over on this side that this attaches to. And you can, like on the boat, this whole part over here that matches that was all rotted away. So I got to rebuild the one on the right. And then this one on the left, which came out pretty easily, I had fabricated a few years ago with layers of teak, and you can see it's all split. This portion came off the bottom, so this has to be rebuilt. I may use the teak, I may just take it all apart, sand it down. I used probably just a wood glue before. I think what I'll do is use an epoxy to put it together, then I may cover the whole thing in a coat of fiberglass epoxy. You may recognize this. This is that bilge pump water level sensor. I brought this home from the boat, and what I'm going to do is actually test it by putting a multimeter on it, immerse it in water, just to see if I get a recording that it's actually working. I also brought home the old sump pump that I took out, and I'm going to make sure this is set up for the second sump pump. I think it's all ready to go. I just want to make sure it's ready. What I may do is, if I get this switch verified that it actually does work, I may mount it just above this switch here, put it in parallel, so that I actually have two switches, one backing up the other, and then the whole assembly backing up the lower pump. So that would give me definitely overkill, because these switches are the weak link. They are definitely the weak link. So if I end up with two of these failing, this one and the primary, and I get this one to actually work, then I know I have three switches and two pumps, two circuit breakers, two sets of wiring to protect the boat from filling with water again. I think what I'm going to do to fix this is, rather than using wood, I'm going to make a pattern using this piece of stainless steel. It's about 1/16 of an inch thick, and I'll cut this to fit, bend it like from here up, and then this will screw into the side of the block, because the top part of the block, the one on the boat, is in good condition. It's really just rotted at the bottom. So and the thing is really firmly in place. I tried to get it out, but I mean, it is really solid in place. So I think that's what I'm going to do as at least a temporary fix, but it might last a couple years before it, maybe starts to rot up top again. got it back together again. I didn't film it because, as some of you know, working with epoxy and trying to film is a recipe for disaster. But I'm letting that cure, and then I'll sand it down, but it's pretty well coated. That's coming to the end of fixing the block. Well, thanks for watching. I have another video that's going to come out after this, but I've been working on it for a couple of weeks, and that is the boarding ladder that I brought home about a week ago. I'm varnishing that, and you'll see that video. This particular video right here is simply another trip to the boat and trying to get things done. Talk to you later. Bye.